Welcome, brethren. Today I will be doing a review on the novel Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton. I have the novel here. This is my first book review, so bear with me. Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton is a classic novel that I would classify as a true tragedy. It was written in 1911, so the language is a little bit more dense, but it's not too bad, and I wouldn't let this deter you. The plot follows a poor New England farmer by the name of Ethan Frome. Ethan's dreams of becoming an engineer are dashed when his parents fall ill, which leads to a period of isolation and darkness for him. During this time of isolation, he kind of grows a fondness for his cousin Zenoba and ends up marrying her. Keep in mind, this book was written in 1911, so it's not as strange back then. Be that as it may, his wife, who he refers to as Zena, also falls ill, and after about a decade of poverty and hard times, he falls out of love with her. He does, however, love his wife's assistant, Mattie, who was hired to aid her in her illness. The plot of the book revolves around Mattie and Ethan's kind of blossoming relationship, which they are, of course, forced to keep secret. And the book ends in a drastic attempt by the two to preserve their relationship at a very high cost. The book ends on a rather heartbreaking note, far in the future, with Ethan, Xena, and Maddie living together in misery, which was actually pretty sad and is what makes me qualify this book as a tragedy. This book is interesting because it tackles a topic which is seldom discussed, which is being trapped in a marriage that you do not want to be in. I think especially at the time, this was somewhat controversial because people kind of had to stay together for survival reasons, but also because there was such a strong religious presence in America, which forces the reader to think for themselves what's more important, the promises you've made, that being marriage, or your emotions, that being love. I know a lot of people will say that a tragedy doesn't sound very appealing to them, so I will say in the book's defense that it is very brief. It's a mere 78 pages, so it doesn't force you to wallow in despair like a lot of tragedies tend to do. I'm looking at you, Charles Dickens. And there are joyful moments in the book. These mostly come in the form of the natural beauty that Ethan Frome has learned to appreciate. And the reader, along with Ethan Frome, is allowed to bask, however briefly, in the harsh apricity of the New England winter. My last note of interest is that the book is written by a woman, but is told from the perspective of a man, and it kind of tackles a lot of more complex emotional topics relating to pride and duty that I had considered as uniquely male experiences, so props to Edith Wharton. I rate this book as 77 out of 100. Here's what went into that. Feel free to leave any questions in the comments, and thank you for watching.